Have you found yourself with multiple parts in an Onshape document like this and wondered, how am I going to get them all out for 3D printing or machining at once? That's what a viewer, Seth5357, asked. I'm going to share with you how to handle exporting multiple parts from Onshape, demonstrate 3 different scenarios where you might see multiple parts, 2 which are planned, and 1 which may be not planned. And I'll show you how the export system behaves in Onshape with multiple parts. The first scenario is I've got 4 identical items on the project. These are some wheels for a remote control car. Basically, 1 wheel was drawn, then the copies of that wheel were created using the linear pattern tool. If you right click on any of those parts and click export, it's only going to export the part which you selected. You can see up here under file name, it's actually appended part 3 to the file name there. In this case, I'm actually preparing all 4 of these wheels to be printed as 1 unit. There are 2 ways I can export all of these together. The first way is with nothing else selected, clicking with the left mouse button, then dragging a box over all of those parts. You'll see there that has collected all of those parts over on the left there. I should then be able to right click and hit the export button. You'll see here I now have some additional options which weren't there before on the export tab. One of those being export unique parts as individual files. I want to leave that unchecked, and I'm just going to give this the file name wheels assembly. Click to export. If I open up that folder, drag those into Cura, you'll see all of those wheels have come into Cura as a single STL file. If I click on any one of those and try and manipulate it, Cura handles those as if they are one piece. This means that if you wanted to adjust the spacing between these wheels later on in Cura, you would be unable to do it because the file has been exported as one complete part. It's going to maintain all of its dimensions, including the spacing between each part, as well as being able to drag and drop a box to collect all of the parts. You can also click and hold the shift key down in the parts space over here and select all of those parts. Right click on that selection and click export, and that will also collect all of those parts and export them as one. A second situation you might find yourself in is where you have an assembly. If you've created an assembly in Onshape, you will have an additional tab down here. To be able to export an assembly, you want to move your mouse over here under where it says instances, right click on assembly, and then click export. You'll see here once again you have the option to export unique parts as individual files. Once again, I would like to leave this unticked. A quick rename of the file, export and download. I'll drag this into Cura and show you how that behaves. You can see there that similar to the first scenario, that STL file has come into Cura as one piece. Any manipulations made in the slicer software are made to the entire assembly. There is no way to change the individual spacing of each part now that it is one single STL file. The last scenario that I'm going to share with you Perhaps you have multiple parts even though you don't intend to, like I do in this drawing. This is a previous copy of the individual wheel that appeared in segment 1. As you can see, this part actually consists of 5 different parts. That's because of the way the circular pattern here has been completed. If I were to right-click on this part here in the window and click export, you'll see there it's appended part 3 to that part studio name. I'm just going to export this and open it in Cura. As you can see there, Onshape has exported the part with 1 spoke. This is not how I want to 3D print my wheel. The wheel has 5 spokes and I want to collect all of them. Now, the simple way is, of course, to use the Shift and click all of those parts there in that left-hand menu, or to drag a box over all of those, right-click, and then you can export. But for simplicity, if you wanted to make your life easier, there's another step you can take with your modeling to make this one piece. And that will make it much easier for you, or if you're planning to send this to somebody else to 3D print for you, it will make it much easier for another person to understand what you're trying to achieve. How can you convert all of these into one part and export them all at once? Simply click on all of those parts just like we did before. Then if you come up here and choose the Boolean operation, you can now perform a union on all of those. Click the tick and you'll see there that the wheel now only consists of 1 part, which you can of course right click and export. There it is in my slicer software. It's all one piece. That's it. 3 scenarios where you might have multiple parts in an Onshape document. Do you want to export them to STL files for 3D printing? How you can handle each of those 3 scenarios. Thanks again, Seth, for the brilliant question and the inspiration for the video. I'm always looking for ideas for my next video, so if you've got a question about Onshape or SolidWorks, please put a comment there. I'd love to respond to that and make your question my next video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.